Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with fabulous concert programs, number 108. Now, a bunch of you told me after the last one, oh, you got to get this series going again, and it's so much fun to do. It really is. These, of course, are programs that you will never see live because no one would dare program them, but you can listen to them at home, and along the way, I hope, discover a wonderful evening of music and music you may not know, all of which I think is a good thing. Would that we could hear them live, though. Oh, it would be exciting. Okay, so this is in response to a challenge issued by one of you who said, why not do a Glazunov Symphony cycle? Well, why the hell not? We're going to go through all of the Glazunov symphonies, but we're going to do more than that. We're going to do some other orchestral works by Glazunov too, because quite frankly, he's a marvelous composer, and there's no reason to let all this music languish in obscurity. So program number one, here we go. The Glazunov symphonies, there are 8 of them. There's an incomplete 9th, but there are 8 of them, are a little bit tricky in the sense that they're all sort of second half works. You know, they're bold and they end splendidly and they're exciting to listen to, but quite often they're considered, at least in the critical literature, to be too, well, let's just say shallow. I mean, I can't say it any other way, emotionally shallow, to really deserve the spotlight. Well, my feeling about that is very simple. Shallowtude or shallowishness or whatever you want to call it, shallosity, is often a function of where you put it and how you do it. If you place the symphony in a position of honor, people tend to listen more intently. And when they listen more intently, they will discover that these symphonies have an abundance of feeling, of color, of splendid tunes, first-rate melodies. They work as pieces that belong in the final spot on the concert. They really do. But to begin with, our first program, we've got all kinds of fun stuff that we're going to put together. This follows my usual procedure of doing 4 works on the concert, 2 on each half, not just the overture, concerto, intermission, symphony type thing. I like to do that because, first of all, you get to hear more music, and second of all, it allows you opportunities to kind of put together a more cohesive program because you have more opportunities. So the first half begins with the Sibelius Scènes historiques, suite number 1, which you never hear, and which is gorgeous. This came out of Sibelius's press celebrations music, which he wrote in 1899. Pardon the voice, by the way. I still have this cold, which led to me doing a silent movie like yesterday, but no, I'm back. The Scènes historiques, it's in 3 movements. It's beautiful. It's full of wonderful, colorful music, and it makes a great concert opener. It's almost like a little mini symphony. Then we get the Concerto. The Concerto is by American composer Nicolas Flagello. He's a wonderful composer, really a first-rate talent. His teacher was Vittorio Giannini, who I've been talking about recently, just another one of that fabulous school of Italian-American neoclassical masters. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They all wrote fantastic pieces. I mean, Piston and Crested and Flagello and Giannini and I mean, you know, there are just lots more of them. They're really, really a good school. Persichetti. Anyway, so Flagello's first piano concerto is dynamite. It's one of the most exciting 20th century piano concertos you will ever hear. It's in the traditional 3 movements, a really turbulent and emotionally roiled opening movement. Roiled is an R-O-I-L-E-D, not R-O-Y-A-L. I mean, really, really churning and heaving and with lots of bravura fireworks, a kind of misty, almost bluesy, contemplative central movement, and then a dynamite finale full of syncopated rhythms and, you know, some of the Americanisms we're used to. But it's all just so fresh and lively and fun to listen to. I also talked recently about Giannini's piano concerto, which, you know, you heard some of recently. You know, some of you went and listened to it after I did the video on that Naxos CD. This is also on Naxos, by the way, if you want to hear it. And you loved it because it's wonderful. Well, this is the same. If you like, for example, the Barber Piano Concerto, you're going to love this concerto. It's just exciting as hell. So then we have the intermission. Everybody goes to get their cough drops. I could probably use a couple myself right now. And then comes the Glazunov second half. And I chose 2 works by Glazunov because I want to make a statement. The statement is that Glazunov can really fill up a program, or at least the second half or the first half of a program all by himself, that his music has a big range of expression and a huge range of color. So we start with his tone poem, Stenka Razin, which actually Shostakovich turned into a cantata, the execution of Stenka Razin, Stepan Razin, the same guy. He was a Cossack. He was, supposedly made a deal with the government not to be Cossaccy, and then he fell in love with his Persian princess, and then he decided he was gonna renege on his deal and fight the government, and they killed him, and he was outnumbered, and he decided to sacrifice his princess to the river Volga. And so you hear the song of the Volga boatman. That's why I like this piece, because it starts off our Glazunov exploration with a tune that most people will know. Da, 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 da. And we all know that, right? So that's in this tone poem, along with some fabulous swats of the tam-tam. Oh, what could be better? And it's only like 10, 12 minutes long. I don't know. It's not terribly long, and it's exciting, and it's lush, and it's just lovely. I mean, the plot is kind of grisly, but that's the way it goes. So Stenka Razin leads off part 2, and then Glazunov's first symphony, which he wrote when he was 16. And it's fabulous. He was one of the great prodigies. People don't talk about him, but he was right up there with like Mozart and Mendelssohn and people like that. He was astonishing. He just churned out this symphony. It sounds like something written by a composer twice his age. It really does. It has no defects at all. It flows beautifully. The first movement with its syncopated rhythm is sort of based on the first movement of Schumann's Rhenish Symphony. You can kind of hear it. But the nickname of the symphony is Slavonic, or Slavonian, or Slavanskaya, or whatever they want to call it. I call it Slavonic. It's easier. Has a real Russian feel. The second movement is the Scherzo, and it has sort of Russian bagpipe music. It starts with a drone bass and just wonderful rustic tunes. The slow movement is beautifully inward and melodic and songful. It's gorgeous. And the finale is just a picnic. I mean, it's open and fresh and lively, and it has some snapping percussion towards the end. It's just a wonderful, wonderful work. And it's not overly long. It's like 35 minutes, 30 minutes and a bit. It's perfect. It's just perfect. And the fact that a 16-year-old wrote it is astonishing. So there you go. The first in our Glazunov series. Keep on listening, friends, and thanks for joining me. Take care.